All right, so again, today we're talking about scholarships. My name is Isabella. I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but when I was in high school, I really did not apply to any scholarships. My senior year, I had major senioritis. I was so tired of school. I didn't want to do anything more. I applied to colleges, I did my financial aid application, and then I checked out. I was done. And I ended up having to take out a lot of loans to get my undergraduate degree. And it was a real bummer because when I got to college, I saw a lot of people who were really similar to me. They also came from first generation families. They were also Latina. They also, were studying similar things. And they had a ton of scholarships. And they were like, yeah, I applied to all of them. My counselor told me about all of these scholarships. And I was just checked out. I didn't care. But then when I got to college, I had all these loans and nobody else did, and it was just really a bummer. So I don't want you guys to be in that situation. And if you're already in college, this is also something I didn't know. I was not in Students Rising Above. I didn't have anything like that at my high school. I didn't know I could continue to apply to scholarships when I was in college. I knew that there were study abroad scholarships, but I really didn't know about the other opportunities that were out there. So even if you're in college, you can still keep applying to scholarships. A lot of the scholarships that you see are also for for college and high school students. So you don't have to ever stop. You can keep earning money. So let's get started. That's why I'm really excited about this topic. And I hope you guys are too. So scholarships, if you don't know what they are, hopefully you do. Are free money that you don't have to pay back. So typically they come from outside private organizations. So for example, Students Rising Above gives scholarships. There's tons of other organizations. Local ones, local to the Bay Area, might be the Mason Fund, Making Waves, East Bay College Fund, Richmond Promise, Oakland Promise. There's a lot of local scholarships, but you can also get scholarships from your colleges. So I know Fresno State has scholarships, UC Berkeley, UC Davis. Almost every private school has separate scholarships. So there's a ton of scholarships. And then there's non-local scholarships too. So there's the Coca-Cola Scholarship, there's Gates Foundation. I mean, there's so many that all you have to do is do a quick Google search and you'll see all of the scholarships that are out there. So typically you can use scholarships for tuition or your dorm. Sometimes they'll give you money directly and you can use that for your textbooks, a laptop, a printer, transportation to and from college. It really just depends on the type of scholarship, and it's going to be up to you to figure out how you can use that money. There's no limit to how many scholarships you can win, so you really want to try to apply to as many as possible. We'll get to the numbers in a little bit, but you should really never stop applying and always be continuing to apply. So how do you get scholarships? Again, I talked about this, but you want to start early. So if you're in high school now is the perfect time to start. If you're a junior, you can still start now. If you're in college, continue. Don't stop. I haven't seen a scholarship that says college seniors aren't allowed to apply to this. They'll continue to give money, and if you've already taken out loans and you got a scholarship, you could probably use that money to pay back your loans so that when you graduate and you're out, you don't have those scholarships. One easy thing to do is spend about an hour or two every weekend applying to scholarships. Obviously, you're not going to get every scholarship you apply to. If you do, that would be amazing. But even just spending that time and putting in a little bit of effort is going to kind of elevate you compared to other people. So here's some tips on how you can search. So there are a ton of scholarships out there. You can search for scholarships that have to do with your major, your academic or career interests. I would really push this for those college students out there. If you're already declared, like maybe you're an engineering major or I saw one the other day that had to do with like water and sanitation. If you're in any major like that, you could apply for that scholarship. Tons of nursing scholarships, tons of pre-med, pre-law scholarships are out there. If you're in high school, you probably want to look a little bit more small scale, so look for scholarships that have to do with talents, hobbies, any sports you play. For everybody, you want to look for scholarships that have to do with your background, so your race, your ethnicity, your religion, any cultural affiliations you have. Those are always really good scholarships to apply to. I would say always look for first-generation college student scholarships, if that's you. Scholarships for students from low-income backgrounds. You can get really specific. You know, you can say scholarships for students from Richmond, scholarships for students from San Jose. Really, it's like all about the searching that you do, because there's so many scholarships out there. The more work you put in, the more you're going to get out. And then, of course, there's some weird scholarships. We always see some every year that are only for left-handed students, only for really tall students, so look for those too. Okay, so one thing to keep in mind is that local scholarships are going to be your best bet, while you should still definitely apply to the national scholarships like Gates and Coca-Cola. You want to focus your energy on local scholarships. A lot of local ones might be only for high school students. I think you'll realize that when you search, but you can always try. You can email them and say, hey, I'm in college, will you still accept my application? The worst that they're gonna say is no, but at least you took that chance, because maybe they'll say yes, you don't know. A lot of times these scholarships don't get enough applicants, so you putting yourself out there makes you look really good, and maybe they'll accept your application. So here's some tips for applying. It's pretty straightforward, so keep everything on one doc and just copy and paste it. Almost every scholarship is going to ask you to have letters of recommendation, so before you even start this process, figure out which 2 or 3 people you're going to ask and have them write their letters already and have them be generic so that they can easily just reuse it. A lot of scholarship recommendations are going to be forms that they actually have to fill out, so you might want them to be aware of that, because that might require a little bit more time on their part. Definitely reuse your personal statement. So high school students and college students, you've all hopefully already written your personal statements or your personal insight questions or your CSU EOP application. Hopefully you saved all of those. If not, log back in and get a copy. And you can use those for scholarships. A lot of the scholarship essays are going to ask you, like, why do you want to go to college? Why do you need a scholarship? What are you going to do with the degree? So all you have to do is kind of reformat what you've already written and apply it to that scholarship. Always have your resume ready. Almost every scholarship asks for your resume. They also almost always ask for a copy of your student aid report for FAFSA or the California Dream Act, so have that ready as well. And then have your PDF of your transcript saved. So for college students, that's almost always an unofficial transcript, but some might ask you for an official transcript, so be aware of that. All right, so this is also important. I see this every year. Students are like, oh, I'm not gonna apply for that scholarship. It's only $200, what's the point? And they only apply for really big scholarships, like $20,000 or a full ride scholarship. Those are really hard to get, right? Everyone's trying to get that much money, so those are really competitive. You're gonna be competing against way more people. It's the same reason as why you want to apply to the smaller local scholarships versus the big national scholarships. There's just less people trying to get the ones with less money, but those add up, right? You have a way better chance of getting like 5 $200 scholarships than only one $1,000 scholarship. And usually those organizations that are giving out a $200 scholarship or a $500 scholarship, they have like 10 of those that they're giving out, so you have a way better chance of getting those. Watch out for scams. There's a ton of scholarship scams. I see them every day. I have one student on the Hub who's always emailing me and she's like, Isabella, is this legit? If you're not sure if something is legit, ask your advisor, ask us on the Hub, and we can help you figure out whether or not it's legit. So if it asks you for your credit card information, it's probably not legit. If they're making you pay a fee, or they're saying, like, this scholarship is guaranteed, or we're guaranteed to match you with the scholarship, that's kind of sketchy. You should watch out for that. If it looks sketchy, don't waste your time applying, right? There's tons of scholarships that are legit. A lot of scholarships will ask you for your social security number, but almost always it's optional to actually fill that out. So if you're not sure, don't fill it out and say, you know, it could be provided upon request, and that's okay to say that. We have a scholarship list on the Hub, so I'll show that to you guys in one second. And then of course, you can always Google your scholarships and talk to your schools. So high school counselors always get the inside information about local scholarships. They know first because these scholarships, like the Elks Foundation or a church, they're going to email your high school counselor directly. So talk to them first. And then if you're at college already, your college advisor, financial aid advisor, and then the college scholarships website, they also always have the inside scoop. So look at those websites first. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna leave a second for Q&A, and then I will put up the post poll. Okay, so let me end the pre-poll, put up the post poll. Okay, so do that, and then really quickly, while you guys are doing that, I'll show you how to find the scholarship list. So what you want to do is just go to sracollegetocareers.org, log on to the hub, and then log in. So we have a ton of scholarships. If you guys know Carol Ashley, she's an SRA alum from UC Santa Cruz. She's a hub advisor, and she actually manages the scholarship list. So there are tons of local scholarships and also tons of national scholarships. So when I first started at SRA about 3 years ago, we were just posting scholarships on the hub, and I was like, we need to put these all in one place. And it's definitely the most popular resource. And I really made it because I knew from my experience how, like, maybe if there was one easy place for me to look for scholarships, maybe I would have applied and I wouldn't be in like major debt like I am right now. And also don't get discouraged. Like if you do apply to scholarships and you don't get any, I don't want you guys to feel discouraged because that does happen to everybody. And loans are not the end of the world. I'm almost done paying off my loans and I'm only 3-4 years out. So it is definitely possible to pay off your loans. Don't freak out about that. It's just a bummer when I know that money could be going to other things. It could be going to fun things or savings or helping out my family. So keep that in mind. College is always an investment in yourself, so always remember that. Okay, so if I'm on the hub, I want to look over here at websites to check out. The fifth one says SRA Scholarship List. Pull that up, and it takes you to our list. And let me just try to zoom out. There we go. So there's a couple, well, like 5 different tabs at the bottom. There's a search engines tab. So this website, or this link, or sorry, this tab, it's been a long day. This tab has links to other scholarship sites. So there's like Latino College Dollars, JLV Counseling Scholarship List, East Bay Consortium, UNIGO, UNCF, like there's so many different ones on here. There's military scholarships, California. So check this out. If you can't find any on the rest of the scholarship list, this is a good source. This US Open tab has United States scholarships. So these are the national ones where you have a bigger applicant pool. But again, you might win more money. Like just looking at this Foot Locker one for athletes, that one's worth $20,000. So if you're an athlete, maybe check that one out. There's California scholarships. So that's right next to that. And these are the local scholarships. So these are like CAP, Making Waves. That's for high school seniors. That's due today. So might be a little late for that. But if you scroll down, they're in order. So the ones that are due really soon, those are at the top of the list. The later ones are due later. So scroll through. If you look on so there's also closed tabs. That just means that the deadline has passed. But every year, these same scholarships recirculate. So if the deadline passed, maybe and you're interested in it and you're like, wow, this one's perfect for me, just put a note in your calendar so that you can apply next year. These are the closed tabs. So we're always updating this every single day. So this is just a nice first place to start. And again, we made this because we know how hard it is to look for scholarships, and we know you guys are busy, you have jobs, you don't have time to just be sitting all day looking for scholarships. So really use this as your resource. Okay. I'm going to answer, there's 2 questions. Again, if you have any, type them in. And, oh, now there's 3. Awesome. So type in your questions. I'll answer them right now. So first one is, should I still apply for a scholarship even if I don't meet the GPA requirement? That's a little tricky. What I would do is reach out to the scholarship organization directly and let them know that you've done your research. For example, say, I noticed that for the, let's use an example, ERC Eco Scholarship, it requires a 3.25 GPA. I have a 3.1. Can I still apply? And then, maybe they'll say no. That's the worst they can say. But maybe they'll say like, oh, wow, thanks for reaching out. I love that you've advocated for yourself. Yes, please apply. So reach out and ask. I don't know the answer because everyone is going to be a little bit different. Next question, do you have specific advice for college students with low GPAs trying to get scholarships? So kind of going off that, advocate for yourself, see if they'll accept you, but also keep in mind that not all scholarships are asking for your GPA. So if I'm looking at the California Open tab right now, these first few say none listed under GPA, which means they don't care about your GPA. The first 2 are for high school students, but if you keep going, you'll find others that are for college students. My advice is just to do your research and be persistent. But if you're looking at the scholarship list, none listed means that they're not looking at your GPA. All right, next question is, what is the difference between a scholarship and a fellowship? That's a great question. In general, so it might depend on your situation, but in general, a fellowship is when you're either like, for example, if you got a fellowship to work at San Francisco City Hall, they're like paying you to work there for a year and get experience. Or maybe you got a research fellowship. Your whole purpose is to be researching and working and getting experience. Maybe they're paying you for that, but in general, it's more like a work, more so like an internship. Whereas a scholarship is really just you getting money and putting it toward your education. Some scholarships do say, like, if you get this scholarship, you have to write a blog, or you have to take this certain class, or you have to maintain this certain GPA, but that's not necessarily a fellowship. A fellowship is usually like a long-term commitment where you're doing something, you're like really getting something tangible out of it. But again, do your research because it depends. Okay, next question. Do we need to apply for the Cal Grant each year, and do we need to uphold the 3.5 GPA for maximum money each year? So the GPA is going to depend on your school, so you have to check with your college's financial aid office about that. But Cal Grant, yes, you do need to apply, but the way you apply is by filling out the FAFSA or the California Dream Act. All you have to do is do that. Make sure you list your college on your FAFSA or your Dream Act, and then your school sends your GPA to, I don't know, the Cal Grant people, the California Financial Aid Office, and then they decide whether or not you get Cal Grant. So your part is to do your FAFSA or your Dream Act, and then your school sends your GPA, and then they decide if you get the Cal Grant. So that's how you apply. So you don't actually have to like do anything aside from that. But good question. Make sure, again, hopefully you guys have all done it by now, but make sure you renew your FAFSA, renew your Dream Act, or if you're in high school, apply for the first time, and make sure you do that. Deadline is March 2nd to get Cal Grant, but the sooner you do it, the more money you're gonna get. So try to do it ASAP. It opened October 1st, so hopefully you all already did it. All right. I don't see any more questions, so I just want to thank everybody for your time. This is the latest webinar I've ever done, so that's why, excuse me if I'm like a little tired. But hopefully that was helpful. I know a lot of you guys are older, but don't be discouraged. Keep applying to scholarships. If you don't get scholarships, it's not the end of the world. Loans are okay. Again, I'm almost done paying mine off, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And use the scholarship list, again, that is on the hub under websites to check out, SRA Scholarship List. Oh, and quick plug, we actually have a little raffle going on where if you post a photo of your confirmation page to a scholarship application, you can win an Amazon gift card. So you can find out more about that on the financial aid page. I just posted this. But do that before Friday, December 22nd. We're gonna pick 5 students at random. All right, that's all from me. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great night. Good luck on finals. I hope anyone in like LA, Santa Barbara, I hope you guys get home safe. And in general, I hope you all get home safe. Or if you're not going home, I hope you have a great winter break. And we will hopefully see some of you guys on Saturday at the workshop. But other than that, talk to y'all later. Good night. Thank you for watching. Bye.